What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the state of Magic the Gathering. Don't go anywhere. Let's hit that intro and get right into the video. Alright guys, welcome back. So as I said in the intro, today we're talking about the state of the game. The state of the game is not in a good spot. Just today, I've watched 3 videos on YouTube talking about how Universes Beyond sucks. And the attitude and behaviors towards Universes Beyond releases and sets and things like that. So let's go ahead and this is kind of like a rant video. I just kind of want to talk about my thoughts and feelings on the subject. And I'm going to start with this. Universes Beyond, it's got its issues. Like everything within Magic has issues, whether that's cash grabs, whether that's certain practices from Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast influencing things. Yes, there's issues, and I totally am aware of that, and I'm not going to just sit here and say that Universes Beyond hasn't become something that's a little bit toxic with the way that their practices are. But you can also separate that from the fact that Universes Beyond is still a good thing in hindsight and in practice, in good, positive, not toxic practice, right? You know, in psychology, we always talk about mindset and intention. And a part of Magic, and a big part of Magic, is the bracket system, and that alone is built on intent. What do you intend to do? Well, I think that a lot of people are starting to see that Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, or specifically, they're having a negative intent towards their products and what they're putting out, which could have been the reason why Spider-Man was such a cash grab and not really that great. However, I will say that I am still glad that Spider-Man came out. I mean, I got into Magic a year and a half ago from the release of Assassin's Creed. If Assassin's Creed wasn't in the game, I would have never joined Magic or gotten into it, period. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. Assassin's Creed got me in. That's what got me in. I would not have gotten into Magic before then. I bought a standard pack, a standard deck before. I played it once and I was like, nah. I didn't like it, right? I don't really like Magic lore. I'm going to be real. I just don't find it cool. I like the gameplay. That's why I play, because I like, you know, how complex it is. I like the combos you can do, the infinites. I like just the biggest thing is getting together with friends and having something that feels right and something that gives me an outlet that's, you know, something that's positive for me. Because social interaction, as we talk about in psychology, I know you guys know that this channel is we take a psychological perspective on things because of my degree. Having social interaction is a positive thing to have, and if you're doing these things with your friends, chances are you're going to be in the hobby more and longer, right? Like, I'm in another hobby, which is hot toys collecting. I have some of them right behind me. I've contemplated on selling these many times just because I don't have the connection and the culture with a community because of these. Like, I'm just collecting them on my own. It's not something I can share with people around me. Yeah, there's YouTubers that talk about them. Yeah, there's, you know, Discord communities and Facebook marketplace chats and things like that. But there's nothing here that I can really utilize to help culminate a culture. It's just me collecting those. Whereas with Magic, I can go to my local LGS. As bad as they are here in Greenville, South Carolina, they're terrible. I'll go in on a Friday Commander night and no one will be in there. But at least it's something that I can attempt to do. And there's an attempt that and the possibility that there might be people at the LGS. Whereas for these hot toys, I can't do anything but take pictures and post them online and hope that people try to connect with me with them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that will last long term, especially with how expensive those figures are. Like, they're expensive. They're at least a few hundred a pop, which is why I don't have a lot of them. But Magic is also expensive, and I feel like there's a lot of negative practices that go on with Wizards of the Coast, and we're seeing that. But I also don't think that should be a reason why we look at Universes Beyond and go, ew, that shouldn't be in Magic the Gathering. Because in reality, Magic would not be where it is today without Universes Beyond, period. Millions of players started because of those sets. And now you could have the argument where it's like, okay, yeah, people come in for those sets, but they just buy that set and then they leave. They don't play the game. Yeah, maybe. But what about the people like me that do? That, they're drawn to the game because of a certain IP, and now they're stuck in it. I have made a Kinnan deck for CEDH. Let's see, an Aloro Ageless Ascetic was my first commander outside of the Assassin's Creed stuff. I was technically building Ezio Auditorie first, but I didn't have all the cards before. I had Aloro's deck built. Aloro is kind of the bridge. And that was just because I did hours of research on commanders that looked cool and that were something that I would want to do, or at least try, because back then I didn't have an idea of what Magic was, how to play, how the game situations happen, the mechanics of cards. I had no idea. I just looked at Aloro and I was like, I like that. It seems like me, something that I would like, So that's why I chose Aloro. But again, I had the bridge with Ezio in Assassin's Creed. Without that bridge, I would not have gotten into it. Period. I remember getting the standard set that had the standard decks in there, and I would play with my roommate up in college in our apartment there for hours on end, and then I would have to go to work or class or whatever, come back. But the point is, Universes Beyond got me in, and that's why I'm here. So I'm sick and tired of seeing people trash talk Universes Beyond as if it shouldn't be in the game, because it should be. Because without that, Magic would be probably down in the dirt, not even here right now. And if it would be, we see Pokemon. Pokemon's pretty popular, but in my opinion, the quality of those cards has gone significantly down. So has Magic, but still. It's like these other card games, like Yu-Gi-Oh! That was once really big. You don't ever see it anymore. You don't ever hear anyone talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore to the extent that you do Magic or Pokemon or whatever. Bakugan, non-existent anymore. I was big into that back when I was 8 years old. I got into the new Bakugan card stuff because they remade Bakugan and made it into an actual TCG game, and I got into it. But again, there was no one to play with. There was no community, which is so much of the reason why Magic is the way that it is today. It's because you have that community, you have that stability, but there's so much instability right now within the stability that it's, yeah. So those are my thoughts. I'm so tired of the toxicity in the hypocrisy within the player base of Magic. There's so many hypocrites out there. There's so many. And if you want to, argue in the comments, you can post whatever you want. I'm not going to entertain it. But you can go ahead and post it. If you're feeling the same way I am, feel free to post, whatever you want in the comments. I will do my best to get back to you. Because we need to stay together in this hobby, because there's so much toxicity out in the world right now. Even without Magic, just politics and the economy, the way the world works, there's so many divides. And we don't need Magic to be another divide. It's crazy, but the amount of people that think that Magic would be in a better spot without Universes Beyond just makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me, because there's so many players like me, like myself, that are drawn to the game because of those IPs. Doctor Doom, I made a Doctor Doom deck. He hasn't even been released yet for Marvel superheroes. He's just my favorite Marvel character, so he's mono black. He does what I want. Black is my favorite color. I love graveyard synergies and stuff like that. I love playing with that. I love the altars, being able to create infinite colorless mana and then whip out Walking Ballista and completely kill everybody. That's so fun to me. There's so many different cards that you can pick and choose from. And I'm sorry, but Magic cards, Magic characters that are in lore aren't very They're not interesting, in my opinion. Some are. I loved Prosper for the longest time, but even him, he's not even a Magic lore. He's from Baldur's Gate in D&D, I'm pretty sure. Kinnon's in lore, but I mean, it took so long for me to build a Kinnon list just because I didn't get into CEDH until a year and a half in to my Magic career, essentially. Not career, but you know what I mean. But the point is, we need to be more positive in the community. There's way too much toxicity right now with these upcoming releases. And yes, I think we can separate the economical challenges that Hasbro and Wizards are putting out, but still appreciate the IP with it, you know? Like, we don't need to necessarily correlate the two. They're exclusive. They don't need to be connected. And that's my point for the video. So thank you so much for watching this. I know this was more of a rant video, but I wanted to get it out there just because it was on my mind. Very passionate about it. Most of my decks are, in fact, Universes Beyond. Like I said, I have a Doctor Doom deck. I have a Ezio Auditore de Firenze deck. I have, let's see, I have a Kratos and Atreus Partners deck from God of War that I just built. And I play all of those more than any other deck. I have an Edgar Markov deck. I have a Bello Bard of the Brambles deck. Those are in universe. But the reason why I like Edgar Markov isn't because he's the biggest, baddest vampire commander out there. It's because he reminds me of the Valkyrie in Twilight. The other vampires don't give off that vibe, and that's what drew me to Edgar in the first place. It wasn't the fact that he had an eminence ability. That was just kind of there when I made him. I just liked the character design. I thought it was cool, and I liked the card, the showcase foil, just the way it looked. It just resonated with me, so I built him when Innistrad Remastered came out. And then, what else do I have? I have a Hackball Surging Soul pre-con deck. I made a Bumbleflower deck for my partner, and then for my mother too. If she ever wanted to get into the game, I made that for her. It was just like a very cheap, like heavy artifact synergy Bumbleflower group hug style. I'm trying to think what else I have. I made a Turgid God of Fright deck, but again, that was because I just love mono black. Mono black is my jam. I love that. Esper and Dimir are my favorite color groups. And I just liked Turgid. I ended up having the card, and I didn't have any place to put her in a deck, so I was like, why not just build a deck around her? I know she's the most hated commander out there, which that alone is a video that I should make, because she's not that scary in my opinion. I feel like she costs a lot to come out. If you counterspell her, she's easily removed. If you have to exile her, whatever. If you remove her from the game, it's just, she costs a lot to even get out. I feel like there's a lot other commanders that are scarier, in my opinion. But that's a video for another day. The point is, guys, we need to be more positive in the community because there's way too much negativity. And we need to be more positive about these Universes Beyond IPs. Are some of them weird, like The Office? Maybe. But if it gets more people into the game, if it gets more people playing the game, so be it, man. Like, again, we have to not correlate the economical standpoint from the IP and the nostalgia standpoint, because there's so many people like myself that have gotten into the game because of the Universes Beyond IPs. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Please smash the like button, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.